What's happening, party people? This is your daily morning motivational message because motivation is something we need to be doing daily, the same way that we brush our teeth every day, hopefully, the same way that we bathe every day for most of us, the same way that we keep up our personal appearance. We have to give as much care, concern, and consideration to the internal as we do the external because the inner root bears the outer fruit. This series of 98% versus 2%, transitioning from 98% to a 2%er, I want to talk about two specific tenets that are on the opposite sides of the fence. So 98%ers are fearful. They make decisions based on fear. They allow the fear to drive their imagination or the limitations of their imagination. They allow fear to prevent them from taking calculated risks. They allow fear to keep them stuck on stupid. So, for example, maybe you've had the experience where you had the impulse to do something and then you talked yourself out of it. You had the impulse to ask for that promotion and then you talked yourself out of it. You had the impulse to approach that person to see if they would be open to a conversation, and then you talked yourself out of it. You had the impulse to make the phone call to promote your business, and then you talked yourself out of it. Fear is paralyzing. Fear can wreak havoc in our lives. Fear changes the tenor and the tone of our voice. Fear makes us physically quiver and sweat. Fear can do so much destruction before anything real actually takes place. It is in our imaginations. Have you ever been in the midst of a dream? Some call it a nightmare, and there's something traumatic happening. You're being chased or you're falling, and then you jump up and you wake up and you're sweating and your heart is racing and you're looking around trying to get your bearings and you realize it was all a dream. So understand, fear will wreak havoc. Now, there's nothing that you can do to avoid fear, okay? You're going to have moments of fear. You just cannot allow it to dictate your life. You can't allow it to control you. When fear comes, you have to dance with the fear, okay? Now, on the other side of that, 2%ers embrace faith, and they embrace faith over fear because they understand that anything that is worthwhile, more often than not, requires a significant amount of faith. That is the evidence of things not seen, the substance of things hoped for. Meaning you have a vision, you have a belief. I have faith that this is going to do what it's supposed to do. I have faith that we're going to be able to weather this storm. I have faith that things are going to work out for the better. I just got to keep working. I got to keep doing the right things in the right way. I have to keep moving with an open heart and an open spirit. And if I move in that direction with the work and the commitment to the excellence that I bring, then guess what? The faith will allow us to have a revelation, will allow new things to come into our sphere. And that's the beauty and the power of faith. So when you look at it in the bigger scope, think about your own journey. What has been some of the most significant growth moments for you? Was it when you took a leap of faith? Even though you had fear, going out for those tryouts when you were a kid. It could have been a sporting competition or a team or a squad that you were competing, and you were fearful going in to put yourself out there to be scrutinized by judges, to be scrutinized by a coach to see if you're going to make the team. But you took a leap of faith and you said, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm just going to give it my best. And sometimes it works out. Instead of allowing the fear of failure to prevent you from attempting anyway. I'm not going to try it. I probably wouldn't make it. I like, why would they want me? I don't have any talent like that. No, that's fear talking instead of faith talking. Maybe you've had moments in your life where you didn't know how you were going to get through a period. You didn't know how you were going to solve a problem. And you just decided that you were going to rest in your faith. In spite of the fear and anxiety, in spite of the uncertainty, you were going to rest and be renewed in your faith. And sometimes those situations, they worked out. because you just put your head down, you kept working. You put your head down, you kept believing. You put your head down and you kept doing the right activities day in and day out without ceasing, and it worked out. That's the power of faith. Faith over fear. It's being committed to the uncertainties of life. You cannot control everything, ladies and gentlemen. I know you think you can. I know you'd like that idea. And see what people do with that word, control. What they do is they allow the fear of their own greatness, the fear of their own possibilities. They allow that to stifle them. And then they will resign themselves to a less than ordinary life because they'll say, well, at least I know I'm getting a paycheck every 2 weeks, even though that paycheck doesn't come anywhere near their worth, anywhere near their capacity. The situation that they're in will never unlock the secrets of their greatness, but because they know they can anticipate those numbers hitting their account every 2 weeks, and they can build a less than ordinary life around that number. We call them paycheck players. They will rest in that space, allowing fear to dictate their ultimate outcome, instead of having the faith that if they put themselves out there in the spirit of uncertainty, I don't know how this is going to turn out, but I do know I'm going to give it everything that I have. And I don't know when my breakthrough is going to come, but I do know I'm going to keep going until, that is the operative word, until my breakthrough is realized. There's a difference between moving in faith and moving in fear. Fear creates lack and limitation. Fear creates restrictions. Fear creates shackles. Fear allows us to continuously live from our past. It allows us to be stifled by our current circumstances and robbed of our future because we don't even have enough courage to vest in our future because we're so inundated with the current circumstances or the dregs of our past. Fear will wreak havoc in your life if you don't learn how to dance with it. You got to dance with fear. When you dance with fear, you acknowledge, oh, I see you. I know you're here, but guess what? I'm going to keep doing what I do anyway. I remember in 8th grade, there was my first dance. I had never gone to an official dance. It was at Regina High School. And we were in 8th grade at the time. It was at the high school, but we were in 8th. It was 8th grade dance. And I remember all the girls were on one side of the floor, all the boys were on this side of the floor. And this song came on, and I heard the song, and I was like, I have got to dance to this song, but nobody was moving. And I said to myself, man, I got to dance to this song. And so I started to walk across the floor. Now, I'm looking to my left and my right and nobody's moving. And so I realize as I start walking across the floor that people are looking at me walking across the floor. So I'm walking, but now I'm like trying to be cool because I know people are looking at me. So then I, try to have a little dip to my walk, try to have a little bit of confidence, but my nervousness and my fear were overriding my confidence measure. So as I'm walking, my knees start to shake a little bit because I am getting more and more nervous. And so it wasn't really like a cool walk. It was more like, just trying to keep it together. I don't know what I looked like. By the time I got to the other side of the floor, my shirt was all sticky and sweaty and my mouth was all cotton mouth and dry. And I saw the first young lady and I said, hey, excuse me, would you like to dance? And she was like, no. And I was like, oh, man. And in that moment, I was like, oh, if I turn around and go back and walk across that floor, everybody going to be clowning me. They're going to clown me for weeks. Or I could ask somebody else. I was like, all right, man, somebody else. I'm already over here. So I went to the next young lady. Would you like to dance? No, thank you. But then I heard the music again. I was like, oh, but this is my jam, though. I still, look, man, I got to dance to this song. I'm going to dance to this song. There's nothing as powerful as a made up mind. So I went to the next young lady. And she's like, oh, not right now. And by the time I got to the fourth young lady, I was kind of like, thinking about the song. I'm going to dance to the song. Like, no matter what, I'm dancing to the song. So by the time I got to the fourth young lady, she's like, I like you. You got some rhythm. I said, bet. We get on the dance floor and, we got to, I don't know where to put my hands. How close am I supposed to be? I'm still nervous, right? There's still fear, but my faith overrode my fear. And see, the song was what was driving me. The song was driving me the whole time. The song got me from one side of the floor to the other. The song mustered up the courage in me to ask someone. The song kept me going after I heard no again and again and again. The song was the driver. And eventually I reached my destination. It didn't look the way that I thought it was supposed to look. It didn't play out the way that I was hoping it was going to play out. But I got to the destination because I allowed my faith to override my fear. Your music is in you. It cannot come out without faith. There is a song that you have to sing, a song of creativity, a song of that book that you have to write, a song of that business that you're going to be successful in, a song of greater fitness, health, and well-being, a song of a stronger relationship, a song of better parenting, a song of being a better servant leader. That song is your driver. And you have to understand that fear is there to stifle your music. Don't let it stifle your music. Move in that spirit of faith and give yourself permission to be bold and righteous in singing your song. It will set you free. It will take you places that you never imagined you could go. It will open up doors of opportunity that you didn't even know were there because you were willing to walk in your faith. It's one thing to talk about it. It's another thing to be about it. Don't just talk about it, be about it. Faith. See, it doesn't take faith to collect a paycheck. It doesn't take a lot of faith to show up for your job every day. It takes an extraordinary amount of faith to build a business, to lead people, because you don't always know how things are going to unfold. You have to be prepared for the inevitable ebbs and flows. You have to make something out of nothing as a way of life if you're an entrepreneur or an intrapreneur. And I am not saying that the world of business and income is the only spaces that we can practice these principles I'm teaching. I'm giving you an example because you may have a job that you love, God bless you, but you're practicing a greater faith in your relationship, a greater faith in your fitness, a greater faith in your leadership, and maybe your volunteering. So I'm not only relegating this, I'm just giving you that example because I am encountering this every day. I meet people every day and I'm explaining to them, you have a song that you haven't even begun to sing because it's been stifled by the fear because the paycheck you're collecting is killing your dream. You've gotten comfortable. You've gotten accustomed to going without. You've gotten used to being overworked and underpaid and undervalued, underappreciated, sometimes even disrespected. You've allowed that to become a way of life. And it is my task to wake you the heck up. Because if you have a vision and a goal that is greater than your current circumstances and you recognize that whatever you may be doing for a job is not going to get you there, it is your responsibility to engage in the world of entrepreneurialism and intrapreneurialism because that is the vehicle that will give you the opportunity to fulfill your greater goals and dreams. Because it allows you to build and create something that is measuring up to your self-worth. I can go out into the marketplace and get what I feel that I deserve. Can't do that on my job. I can't get paid what I'm worth on my job. Now, if you're making $500,000, $1 million a year, that's a different conversation. Most people are not. Average income in America, $60,000 a year, $5,000 a month. I submit to you that most people are worth more than $5,000 a month. But you're not going to come to that realization without taking a leap of faith. I want you to be intelligent. I want you to evaluate. I want you to make a good business decision. There are markers for that. That's a different conversation for another day. But I just want you to understand the mind and the patterns that are cultivated as a result of living your life in fear versus living your life in faith. The reason 2%ers are standouts is because 2%ers cultivate a vision and they move toward that vision and they fail forward. There's nothing that you're experiencing that wasn't created by a 2%er. That's worthwhile. This device that we're on was created by a 2%er. The technology that was cultivated to create the device, 2%ers. These were people of imagination, people that wanted to do what they thought couldn't be done. In order to do what you thought couldn't be done, that has to be a practice in faith. It is not fear. That laptop that you're using today, that car that you're driving today, it came out of someone's imagination. It was birthed before it existed in the mind first. Everything is created 3 times. First in the mind, then we speak it, then it becomes manifest. Those are all acts of faith. There is nothing that you can point to of any significance that didn't birth itself from faith, not fear. And there are areas of your life, you know what they are, because I don't know your life. I don't know you like that. But listen, there are parts and areas of your life where you are living from fear and not faith. Activate your faith. Turn up your music and sing your song. If you got some value out of this, please like and subscribe and pass this message on. Bless somebody today with this message because it is a blessing to be a blessing.